What is up, my bubbly boys? They're in our video, and today we are doing a live twin Dogmatika deck profile. So I'm really excited to bring you guys this because this has been honestly my favorite deck to play in today's format. It's so good, and it puts in so much work against today's meta. Honestly, I'm really surprised how good this deck actually has been performing, and I'm really excited to bring you guys this list. So before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below what variant of Live Twin is your favorite. Mine is personally like the Sprite. I mean, Sprite is fun, but like also Fiendsmith too. So the Sprite and Fiendsmith ones are my personal favorites. As of course Dogmatika too a little bit. Pearly too is fine. Is fun. So yeah, let's hop right into it. So to start things off, we're gonna run 3 Lila. 3 Lila is honestly mandatory, of course, because you want to get into your Frost, and Frost gives you extra draw on your opponent's turn, which gives you extra interruptions onto your opponent with any of these interruptions they have down here. 2 key skill, honestly, I'm thinking cutting this down to 1 and running a second Frost. The only reason being is that like I wanted to keep it as 12 starters for the live twin engine, so it could be as consistent as possible, as well as that way I don't brick, because you can sometimes brick with this deck. Like let's say if you open up Maximus and like 4 hand drops, which that does happen sometimes, not so often because you were running of course 12 starters, but you can cut it to 11 starters if you choose to do so, and maybe run a second Frost, more hand traps if you choose to do so. Triple Attacker's Talent if you choose to do so. There's so many other cards you can play, but I personally like 12 starters. I may change in the future though. So next we have Kiska Frost, of course. That's our extender that we use if our Lila gets negated. If Lila gets negated, it's fine, because usually you search off the Kiska Frost off your Sunny Snitch, and you have 6 ways to basically get to your Sunny Snitch. You have to, of course, the 3 Sunny Snitch and your secret password. Or if you ever use Sunny Snitch that turn, you could use Live Twin Home. So that's why we're running one Live Twin Home, and for the rest of the starters is 3 Sunny Snitch and 3 secret passwords. So again, this is 5 here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 starters. Alright, so now for the Dogmatika engine. We have 2 Maximus, 1 Fleur de Lis, the brick of the deck, 3 Nadir Servant, and Shadow Schism. I did cut it down a bit on the Dogmatika engine. I do want to go back to more Dogmatika cards in the deck. I am really considering that, because the Dogmatika stuff do so much work going first, and that's what's been winning me games most of the time. So I may be running more like an extra Ecclesia or maybe another Maximus, but overall I think I do want to increase this engine just to have more access to it. Alright, so next of course Shadow Schism. I know I said before the Shadow Schism was not the brick of the deck, but it is kind of a brick if you do not have access to your Dogmatika engine, or you do and it gets negated. Which that doesn't happen most of the time, because usually they negate your Lila monsters or your Live Twin monsters, because people are just like that. So usually they don't negate your Dogmatika stuff unless they already know that you're playing that. But overall, Shadow Schism is another brick of the deck. You can consider running to 41, but I wanted to get cross-deck Designator as much as possible, because this deck does lose to things like Nibiru and stuff like that, and like multiple hand traps. So you want to protection against hand traps. So that's why I'm running 3 cross-deck Designator, which we'll get to in a little bit. So that's why I keep it at straight 40, but you can figure out things to like you could cut a Fleur de Lis if you choose to do so, and have some more extra deck space in order to run something like McCraker. But I personally like Fleur de Lis because Fleur de Lis does help as not only a monster negate, it's a +1, and it also helps you to OTK for the following turn. Now for Schism, of course, Schism left gets into the Window Lock. Window Lock is just so broken that it's worth playing, and is not worth cutting, honestly. Next for the hand trap lineup, 3 Veiler, of course, is not once per turn, so you have to play 3 of it. 3 Ash, most generic hand trap in the game right now, so of course you have to play 3. 3 Mourner, I mostly wanted to max out on how many monster negate hand traps I could play as possible, and I didn't really want to play a 3rd Ogre, and I didn't want to play 3 Imperm. Only reason being because you draw 2 cards on your opponent's turn, and that one of them you don't want them to be Imperm. You want to draw into something like Mortar that you can actually use on your opponent's turn. So, because Imperm requires you to control no cards, and of course, turn one, there's no way you can control no cards. So you have to run like at least 3 more. I may cut Imperm to 1, and maybe run a third Ogre if you choose to do so. I mean, maybe a third Nibiru, maybe like another hand shot that you choose. I can't really think of any other hand shots. Maybe like DD Crow, Ghost Spell, Droll. It depends on, and maybe if you want more cross-up targets, you want to do that. There's plenty of options they could do. So next we have two Nibiru. This is mostly just for a cross-out designator target as well as going second. Same thing with Imperm and Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre actually puts in quite a bit of work, actually. I like it a lot. I definitely don't like it as a 3-of because some matchups like such as Labyrinth, some matches like Labyrinth, I can't really think of anything else, but like maybe Vanadium, like no, they had their field spells, so you're good. But most like some matchups aren't totally good for Ogre, so that's why I only run it at 2. But like you could run 3. You could run 3 if you choose to do so. Next 3 cross out and 1 call by. Nothing really explaining here. It just play around hand traps, play through hand traps. That's pretty much it. Next for the extra deck we have 1 Lingeribo, 2 Keyskill, 2 Lila, 2 Trouble Sunny, 1 Unicorn. This could be SP Lunite if you can afford it. I can't afford it, unfortunately, so this has to be Unicorn for now. Abomination, and that is it for like the main like core. I wish I could run more. Like if there was like a 20 way to play a 20 card extra deck, I wish I could, honestly, because I just need that much more space for tech cards. But the Dogmatika engine does take up a lot of space. So that's why we're running a special card in the deck that I haven't been run before, but now I'm running it Sideway because of recycle card. So I'll show you guys in a bit. So 1 Entis, 1 Garura, 1 Aqualon, 1 Winda, 1 Titaniclad, and of course the card that has been saving me so many games, Cyphering Lord Omega. So the basic idea of this card is that since you're only running 2 Trouble Sunny, you run out of them quite easily. Same thing with like 1 Entis, 1 Garura. You're gonna run out of those, and you're gonna need them for the grind game. So that's why I use Cyphering Lord Omega to send it off Nadir Servant or Maximus like in the grind game. So that way you're able to recycle, not only recycle your stuff back from your graveyard into the deck, but you can also recycle your opponent's cards from the graveyard back into the deck. So if they have a Promethean Princess or something on the field, I mean in the graveyard, you could go ahead and shuffle that back into the extra deck. They can't use it. So it's actually really good because it does say not your graveyard. It says in. Oh, in the yeah. It says from the graveyard. Okay, so any graveyard. All right. So this really nice card. I almost corrected myself for a second, but yeah, I read it right. So yeah, it's really good card, really good for getting rid of your opponent's core cards in their graveyard. I had times where I shuffled back a Labyrinth player's Arius. I had times where I would shuffle back a Promethean Princess. Plenty of other cards too. Maybe like Poplar or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it's a pretty decent card. I like it a lot, especially like when I want to recycle something like a Unicorn, maybe another Keyskill, Entis, Trouble Sunny. Just a really good card overall. Now for the side deck, I'm not too fond of the side deck. Like the only thing I maybe would change is like maybe the draw for either a third droplet and maybe one of any choice, or maybe just cut the 2 draw for Ice Dragon's Prison. So Ice Dragon's Prison is actually an insane card that I thought would be pretty decent this format. The only thing I'm worried about is like depending on the matchup. Like let's say Snake Eye has a lot of different types, so it can be a little iffy on that matchup. But overall, I think a lot of matchups it is really good. But as it is, the only problem I have with it is that you're setting up a big board as it is with things like Winda, a bunch of hand traps in hand, and Dimensional Barrier. I think Ice Dragon's Prison is kind of pushing it. I mean, in some matches, Dimensional Barrier, but overall, I think Ice Dragon's Prison is kind of pushing itself. I think that's why I cut it. But you can run it if you choose to do so, because that's why I was running at first. So 3 Bell is mostly for Labyrinth. It's good for Tenpai. It's good for Voiceless Voice. It's good for Melodious, and it's good for Sword of You Bell. Next we have 2 Draw. 2 Draw is mostly for Rogue, and yeah, that's pretty much it. and like things like Castira, Snake Eye, to be exact. This is gonna go to a 3 of in the main once Infinite Forbidden drops, because now with the new Fiendsmith stuff that's gonna cost me an arm and a leg, it's gonna be a lot of Fiendsmith around. So Duel is gonna be really good next format. I mean after Infinite Forbidden drops. So next 2 Droplet. I wish I could run this at 3 to be honest, but I don't have space for 2. I need to figure out a way to play 3, but for now it's only at 2. 3 Cosmic. 1 Harpies. This is mostly for back row decks, and like, things like Fire King is good for Labyrinth, is good for Yubel, is good for Tenpai, is good against a lot of decks at this format. 3-dimensional barrier, again good for Tenpai, good for any deck that really, especially rogue decks that rely on solely one one summoning mechanic from the extra deck. Like Brandon, for example, summons only fusions, so Dimensional Barrier puts in a crazy amount of work in that matchup. Just know that you're gonna negate your own Winda if you play this card. So if you do happen to play this card against Branded, side out the Schism, because you don't. If once you call fusion, it's gonna negate your own Winda, and they're gonna be free to summon. Either that or just don't run this at all. The only reason I would run it though, anyways, is to play around Super Poly. So they could just Super Poly off your Winda with like one of your Dogmatika cards. Since they're both spellcasters but different attributes, I think you can summon out Mud Dragon. Let me check real quick. I think you can summon a Mud Dragon off of this. Yes. So 2 monsters with same attributes of different types. Then I don't know what you could summon off of that. But I'm sure there is a couple cards you can summon using your Winda and some other monster you control. But yeah, so things that like Super Poly and stuff like that you want to play around, and like just any way to get rid of your board. So that's why I like maybe 1 or 2 dimensional barrier plus the Schism, just in case. Like, you know, you could do that too. And then Anti-Spell Fragrance. Honestly, broken card. There's no reason not to run it. So that is it for the deck, and now I do have a replay for you all to show you how powerful this deck is, because some people may not believe me. So some people may think like I'm coping, like, you know, Live Twin is junk, Live Twin is D tier, you know. But you know, I'm about to prove you wrong in this replay right now. So let's hop right into it. So we do end up drawing both bricks in this hand. How lovely is that? Like, what are the odds of drawing both bricks of the deck in the same hand? So kind of sucks here, but fortunately it has no hand trap, so we're good here to play our hand. So this guy was playing like some sort of punk chorus, Gold Pride, I don't know what he was playing, but he was playing some sort of pile deck. Pretty decent player too. He has 383 rating, and I just have a measly 152, because I really don't play Dueling Book that often, and when I do, I just play all my Live Twin decks. Like, I don't really play anything meta. I put my Sun Engraved by mistake. So I don't really play anything meta at all, so that's probably why I'm in the bottom. Alright, so he sends the Hope Harbinger and Galaxy Eyes. I think he was playing, so I thought at first he was playing Galaxy Eyes or something like that, but apparently not. So we go ahead and we can't search. Oh, I should have searched an end phase. Oh no, I didn't send my Titanium Clad. Oh, never mind. Alright, so we ash the reinforcements. He goes E-Tele, summons out a Punk. What he does, he goes Punk here. I go Schism, and then chain the Fleur de Lis. So that way, when Winda is summoned, I can still use this effect my Trouble Sunny without clogging the way with my Fleur de Lis. Because if you did Fleur de Lis and then left the Schism unactivated, you could then, once Winda was on board, then after that you could do Fleur de Lis, but you can't use Trouble Sunny since they both special summon, and both players can't special summon. Can only special summon once per turn. So next we're gonna summon Winda. See, this one says each player can only special summon monsters once per turn while this card is face up on the field. So that will really conflict with the Trouble Sunny and the Fleur de Lis. So that's why I did the Fleur de Lis right after the effect of Schism. So now he goes Typhon here. He's gonna go ahead and shuffle back my Trouble Sunny. So his plan was to go attack, like shuffle back the Trouble Sunny, so that way I couldn't pop it, and then use Windows effect to what's it called? Use the wind and then attack over the window so that way he could keep on playing. But I couldn't go Trouble Sunny because he's unaffected. Wait, why does XD's monsters on the field? Now player can activate the effects of monsters with 3,000 or more attack. So that's why I couldn't activate the Trouble Sunny. So I was forced to actually use my ogre here. So the reason I use my ogre is that way he can't attack over my window. So now after that I have my snitch here. Go ahead, I was about to link my window away and you just pop off and just attack for game. So I fortunately win this one. So we go game 2, he goes first. And he's about to pop off here. So I do have only an ogre in hand, so kind of fortunate. But I do save the ogre for the horse because I just hate horse that much. Not one of my most favorite decks. So I do go ogre here because he does lose. It's a 2-for-1 trade here. He discards a card. It's just a really good trade here. So he goes Foxy Tune here, pops off, does whatever he needs to do. We have Droplet in hand, so that's great. I did kind of misplay on my turn, but you still end up getting the W, so that's alright. So I was supposed to go Forbidden Droplet onto his you'll see in a minute what I was supposed to Forbidden Droplet. So he goes the XD's Armor Fortress thingy, and then he goes the Full Armor Knight Lancer. So what I was supposed to do here on my turn, I was supposed to go Lila's effect, and Lila was supposed to Forbidden Droplet, go summon a Keyskill from deck, and then negate his Knight Lancer, so that way he can't attach one of my monsters to his Lancer. So we go ahead and summon Keyskill. Next after that, go think here. I was trying to think of ways to play around his traps, but I go Lingeribo here, Keyskill. On the summon Keyskill, he goes and gets the effect of Start Your Engines, but unfortunately he didn't have any targets. So let's go. Wait, hold up. So I go ahead and chain the Keyskill, but he has no targets. So we end up winning that, and we actually did pretty decent. I can't speak today. I'm so sorry, but yeah, we did pretty good. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. May make some changes next format. So if you want to see an updated deck list for next format, as in in post Infinite Forbidden, leave some comments down below and drop this video a like if you haven't already. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.